is I've seen this done before where these straw hats are kind of held together with one single stitch all the way around, sort of. So I colored these this morning, and I know there's going to be a exposed, like regular straw color. That's fine. That'll actually help me kind of guide the straw a little bit. So I'm going to find the stitch, I'm going to pop it, and then see how this goes. Yeah, this stupid cable is not going to be great. Next time, I'm gonna absolutely set this up downstairs, and the wolf pup and the wolf man are gonna have to go somewhere, or we're gonna have to get a babysitter because it is quite difficult when I'm having a technical problem and no hands to help me. Alright, so I'm trying to find that stitch. What I'm afraid of is all of this stuff coming unraveled. And then oh, that's pretty easy. Oh, alright. You just, once you get it started, it looks like it's just gonna. And once again, hey, if you guys, if the 3 fans that I have going, God, I have got to move this camera. This cable is gonna. Getting frustrated. Hang on, move my tablet closer. Okay, at least it's not in my face. Okay, keep going. But if the 500 fans I have up here to keep me from dying from heat stroke are too loud, or you can't hear me, let me know. So yeah, I'm gonna absolutely have to do this somewhere else next time. It's honestly the reason this video has been taking a while is because the book album video is because my computer keeps shutting down on me randomly in the middle because it's overheating up here. So I bought an insanely expensive computer with liquid cooling, so hopefully that will help. Are you guys using straw hats, or did you kind of go with your own motif? So I'm just unraveling this because I want to make the cone out of this little spirally part. And I think I might try and extend out the brim of the hat as well. So we'll see. And I'm just going to put this back on with hot glue. I'm using high temperature hot glue. That way if I'm out in the sun or something, it's not going to start unraveling from my head while I'm wearing it. Straw. It looks like it's just like a French braided piece of straw. What? Maybe that might be a fun project to do. Straw hats from scratch. And like I said, I was gonna dye it, but I did not want to spend all the time dyeing it to only have it not turn out or be too faded. So I spray painted it, and it's really hard to dye things dark and solid, so. I'd like to do an episode over making actual millinery forms and doing making fancy fascinators and hats like that from scratch. And now it looks like this isn't just one long piece. It is several pieces, like maybe each strand is a couple feet long. Almost there. like this might be some ASMR video. Okay, so then this top part, sorry, I'll glue those together. And I did buy needle and thread, but I just, I thought that's going to take a very long time. So for my first hat, I think I'm just going to, it looks like we're going to have to stop there because it's starting to get a little crazy with the stitching. So let me cut that. Okay, so now I got my raw pile of snakes. Now here's the question. You like the color of that I painted this straw hat? Alright, put that off to the side for a second. So here is the question. How do I get this closer to you guys? Do I cut this off and make the cone so it's big and open, or do I just stack it on top? What do you guys think? Part of me is like just stack it on top, but I think I want to open it up. So maybe I will try and pop these stitches and then unravel it. I used like outdoor, I put a primer down and then I used an outdoor spray paint, like Rust-Oleum. Alright, I am looking for the top stitch that's holding this thing all together. Which, actually they're easier to see on the inside, so, apparently. And I really apologize for not having a 2-camera setup, so I might go out of frame. I'm just seam ripping the top of the hat, and I'm going to open it up to about here, I think, and then I'm going to build a cone up from there. Oh, it's just Discord. I got a warning on my phone. We've had a lot of tornadoes, so anyone else having crazy weather events? Actually, I'll move this down a little bit. This is a disaster. This little top spiral part's hard to see the stitches. Okay. Just gotta pinch it a little bit. Okay, did I rip this knit up yet? No. Sorry. There we go. Okay. That was tough to find. I do feel like it's gonna rip some pieces pretty bad. Okay. Just get down to where I need it. Well, Tammy, you are lucky. It is pretty dang hot and humid here. I would think it would be humid stuff where you are too. Good old Midwest. Okay. Hopefully this is ripping in an odd fashion on this one. Okay, come on. All I'm doing is using a seam ripper to get this section apart. Almost there. Okay. I'm gonna stop probably right here. Probably cut it back to there and then start putting the cone shape together. Now I want mine to look more like a witch hat and not like a traditional, 1600s, 1700s Dutch hat or a pilgrim hat. That's the goal. I've seen some people do this and it kind of resembles that a little bit, which is fine. It's still cute. It's a garden witch. Very cottage core. I'm going to just kind of cut it at an angle. You can see. And then move the camera up. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is grab a coiled end. I kind of feel like I need to go down to the straightest part. Maybe not. I'll try it. Find the end of this crazy coil. There we go. Top. Okay, let's go follow the snake back to its tail. Well, in this house, a mouse might get it. I had that problem for a little while. Okay. Let's see. Cut the excess little bits off. Then I'm going to figure out what the back of my hat is. I think we should probably start there. And then, see, this is why I think I should go down one level. I think I need to go down more so that I don't have like a weird ridge in the middle of it. So I'm gonna take it down to where the hat is straight. I'd hate to glue something down and then it's got like this wonky bulge. I believe this will be the hardest part of this little project right here. It's making this shape. And I thought this was regular thread, but it's held together with like a nylon plastic thread. A little tougher. Thankfully I'm using a new seam ripper from a package I ordered during the pandemic. It was hard to get your hands on craft supplies, like everyone took up a hobby during COVID. So I remember Joann's was completely void of crafting supplies. That was around the time that I was making my alien apron, like the movie Aliens. I ordered what I thought was like a chartreuse colored chiffon, and when I got it when it actually got to me, it was like a bright clown yellow. It was bad, so I had to then order dye. A ridge could give it character. Not everything has to be traditionally. I honestly love asymmetry. I don't normally make symmetrical stuff. I do here and there, but for the most part, everything I do has got some kind of wonky asymmetry to it. It's just more interesting to me. You know, I think clowns are really interesting, like aesthetically. And I don't know if this is true, but someone said they actually have to register their makeup, and the way that they register it is they paint their makeup pattern and colors on an egg, and then it goes to like some clown registration place, and there's just all these eggs with paint on them on display. I don't know if that's true or not. I could be starting a rumor or spreading a rumor. So when I was in college, I went to school for 3D modeling, visual effects. So one of the teachers, and it kind of stuck with me, he was saying that asymmetrical, when he's looking at people's portfolios, because he was a working professional at Industrial Light and Magic, which is the visual effects company that does like Star Wars and stuff. And he was saying that whenever he sees someone's portfolio for like hiring, he hates it when he sees that everyone's characters are perfectly symmetrical, because he said it's laziness, because in 3D modeling you just mirror things across an axis, and that cuts out having to mirror, having to go and model the other side, which is faster, obviously. But he always leaned towards people who had the attention to detail to go back in and make one side slightly different than the other. He said it just looked, those characters and stuff looked more realistic. So that always kind of stuck with me. Did I ever tell you guys about the time I met George Lucas in an elevator twice? On 2 separate occasions. And he was like, "Are you always in an elevator? Or do you just ride the elevator all day?" I lived in a hotel, so he was at the hotel I was living in, so there was a reason I was there. Okay. I'm going to take that wonky part farther to end it at the back of the hat. Maybe I need like a sticker or something. Uh-oh. Webcam! No! I have a miserable existence today, let me tell you. Definitely getting a babysitter next time so I can have some technical help. Okay. Sorry, I knocked my camera over. So my school, the Academy of Art University in San Francisco, they owned the Cathedral Hill. They bought 2 floors of the Cathedral Hill Hotel because they had so many students, and they were renovating a dorm or something like that, and it was a requirement that all first-year students had to live in school housing. So I was assigned to live in this hotel, and we got all of the regular hotel perks. Like someone came in and would clean my dorm room, and I started out having a roommate, and when I got there, she was kind of nasty to me. She had all of my, she had all of my, the furniture stacked up on top of my bed when I arrived. And then she had like bags and bags of pork rinds everywhere, which, you know, if you like pork rinds, that's fine, but I don't know, I feel like it might be a red flag. So I turned right around with my mother and went and got my own room. Okay, so I'm going to start gluing these in place, starting with this little kind of notch right here. And I'm going to have a bit of a wonky overlap, but that's okay. It's going to be at the back of the hat. Okay. Are you not working, heat gun? It wouldn't surprise me. The one thing that's supposed to be hot, it's not working. What the devil? Oh my god. Yeah, it's not even hot. It's on. Alright, let me get my backup hot glue gun. I'll be right back. Yeah, I don't know. My high heat, my high temp, stupid thing isn't working, so plug in the other one. Give that a second. But yeah, so I was living in that hotel, and they had all kinds of conventions and stuff there. And so I'm just coming and going to my room, and I ended up in the elevator, and one night I look over and it's George Lucas, and what I'm assuming was probably one of his kids was there, and he was like, "Oh, hi, how are you doing?" And I was like, "Good." He's like, "Oh, are you here for the..." It was like a movie memorabilia auction, and I think he bought some Harry Potter stuff or something like that. So we had a little conversation, and he's like, "Are you a student here?" And I go, yeah, I live in the hotel." And he's like, "Well, that must be nice. I'm rich and I don't even get to live in a hotel." And so pleasant conversation, and then many months later, same thing happened. The doors to the elevator open up, and he walks in, and he's like, "Ha, I think you're just riding the elevator like all the time." I was like, "You want to give me a job?" Okay. Here's hoping this one gets hot. It's starting to squish out, so give it just a minute. This is one of those days, I guess. One of those days. Seems like no matter how much preparation you do, is old Murphy. So let's look at my design again. I'm wondering if I'm going to be able to do the little kind of off to the side. Like I want it to kind of go up and back a little bit. Should have asked him for a tip. What floor? I was in my pajamas both times too. I think I'll be able to make it kind of swirl back. I'm not sure how well it will bend once it gets to that small pointy part, but we'll make it work. And then I painted these willows black, which you can not really see them. I haven't put the little yellow butts on them yet, but I have paint to do that, so we'll see how that goes. This is pretty dark. I do kind of plan on putting a light brown. I think we might be good. A light brown on. Dusting of it. I'm not sure this glue gun is going to be up to snuff. Little bit of glue. I need a lot of glue on this thing. Okay. And then I'm just going to work my way around. And it's kind of nice that that has that little exposed regular straw color, because I can very easily see where I need to place it. So lemons and lemonade and all that. So I'll build this up a little bit. Hopefully it won't force me to take a turn. These are, I think, braided into a spiral, so they have kind of a little bit of a lane in. So maybe try and fan it out a little bit if you're doing the same type of thing I'm doing. And then I'll probably have to paint that little sliver there. That's fine. I'm here for it. Sorry if you guys have a hard time seeing what I'm doing. Concert I went to the other day, I got that scratchy throat still. Any of you guys chain smokers? I just feel like garbage. I just can't imagine. Is that how you feel all the time? I don't know. I've never smoked a cigarette or anything, so. The Secret Society had book club on Thursday, and Stephanie in Spindlebow had said, she's like, oh, you got to look at the trailer for the movie Nope by Jordan Peele. Oh, it looks so good. It's like an alien movie. I haven't seen an alien movie in a long time. I think The Fourth Kind was the last alien type movie I saw besides Alien, was it Revenant? Okay, so this is starting to try and like go into a small cone. So I gotta figure out how to make it stay fanned out. Maybe if I move it a little more towards the top. Okay. See, we're kind of building up cone shape now. So let me go back to my reference. I got quite a ways to go. I think probably like 10 inches, and then I'll start trying to cone it backwards. Oh, tangled. Oh, it's weird because like the F-bombs automatically turn off for me when I'm like around elderly people or having to do some kind of public speaking thing, or I'm around children. It kind of just turns off, but they're there. Oh my goodness, are they there? I am not, but you never know. You don't want to upset people. I think the majority of the Slightly Sinister audience are adults, though. So, I think it's the end of the world if someone swears. I don't mind it at all. I didn't have these fans going. I wonder how long it would take me to let the glue set. Did anyone use the little just sketches to try and plan out their hats beforehand? I just thought I'd... Some people don't design stuff on their own because they don't know where to start. So sometimes having a little rinky-dink sketch to get you started is helpful. The straw hats I got at Michael's? Yes, I believe I got them at Michael's. I went to a few stores and that was the only craft store that had this type of straw hat. There were other kind of woven floppy hats, but they weren't quite what I was looking for. I actually don't know if I ever said where I got it from, so thanks for asking. I got a lot going on. Just ask the Secret Society. They're privy to everything. We have a celebration coming up. Summerween, July 13th through I think the 17th. It's a public event, but it's hosted by the Secret Society. It's going to be pretty fun. Got a lot of plans. And if you don't happen to be in the Secret Society, the content, not all of the content, there's a couple things I have to keep secret, but the content will briefly be up for viewing for the public, so everyone can kind of sample each tier. I like to do that at least once a year, because sometimes I get it, you know, it's an investment. Supporting creators can be kind of costly, and everyone is definitely pinching pennies right now. So I like to let the general public see what we're up to for during our celebrations, and then it's back to slamming the door in people's faces. Oh, you don't like super floppy hats? The only reason I thought about adding some to it was because if you look at the design, it's got a bit of a flop, like a fold to the sides, and I think I might be able to pull it off, but I might have to add maybe 1 or 2 rounds just to make that bend a little easier to keep in place, which I'm not quite sure how I'm going to be keeping it in place. We'll find out. I saw a floppy hat. Some guy was wearing it on TikTok. It was like, you remember that little, was it Tom and Jerry? No, something like that. Where there was a little, I think he was a little Mexican mouse and he had that giant sombrero. Kind of reminded me of that. It was huge. Oh yeah, if things have to be functional. I'm very much like that. If I have to keep moving something out of my eyes, or if I can't see around it, it drives me nuts. Like I wear these huge glasses. Like, people probably look at me and I look like a mom from the 1980s, and they probably look at me like I'm like not very stylish looking, but I cannot handle seeing the frames all around the sides, so little spectacles will not do it for me. I'm kind of getting pretty close, I think, to a point when I need to start taking it back a little bit. Tammy with a Y, is your thing slow again? I hope not. Did anyone see that they're making a Willow show? A series? I love Willow. Okay, so I think I got a good height. Now I need to start, where's my back? I'm going to do it all the way to the back again, and then I'm going to start kind of making it slump backwards. Might have to use some tailoring techniques like darts or something to get it into position, but I think that'll work. Now that I'm to the back, I'm going to make this one go a little lower. It's like almost stacked directly on top of that one. And then I think that's going to end up tilting the circle this way. So I'm going to be, I don't know if that makes sense. So it's going to start tilting it back. So then when I come to the front, I got to start working it up again. So I didn't know if 2 hats was going to be enough, but thankfully I think it will be. I absolutely loved Val Kilmer. Like, I had a crush on him from that movie. And when I was in Alaska, I realized I was looking, because they still had a Blockbuster in Alaska, but they were having kind of like a fire sale. And so I was looking for Willow and couldn't find it. So then I was like, oh, maybe I'll just buy it then. And that's when I found out that Willow was not in print anymore. kind of devastated me a little bit. Okay, so I'm kind of, when I get back to the back side of the hat, like I said, I'm kind of stacking the pieces on each other more. We'll see if that works out. I might have to start just cutting bands and working bands back, which might be a better idea. Yeah, actually, I think I'm going to do that. So I'm just going to kind of terminate this band back here at a angle. Make sure that that's glued in. And then, because I don't want to build up too much bulk, so I'm trying to make all these things come back to this point right here. And I don't want to keep stacking them on top. This is going to start making a weird bulge right there. So lots of hot glue today. So I'm just going to start. I hate it when your glue stick runs out and you have to start the next one and it won't feed through. Ugh. Son of a gun. Son of a glue gun. Feed. Snaky coil thing got twisted up. Okay, so as you can see, I'm starting to let's see if I can hold this where. So now it's going to start heading back into a little cone. In theory, that's what it's going to do. Blasted glue. This glue will not stay. What's happening? Oh, let me see if I can get a chair. Let's see. Okay. This fan's like blowing hot air. Down so you can get a lower angle. There you go. And also got to start bringing that shape in. I think I'll do probably 1 or 2 more bands to shorten up that. It's kind of like if you think about it with crochet, it's kind of like reducing your rows is kind of what I'm doing right now. You can see it's headed back a little bit. I probably should have started doing that like around here, in all honesty, but you know what, tall witch hat. There's nothing wrong with that. My concept's pretty tall. Okay, I'm gonna do 1 more shortened row. I just now go up? Let me see. I think I am good to actually just start wrapping again. Then I might have to turn it once or twice in there, but so glue down all these bottom parts, which looks sloppy now, but most of the stuff's getting covered with fabric, so what the camera doesn't see doesn't exist. It's show business. We might get more of a sorting hat vibe out of this. My pieces keep shifting because I'm kind of moving on before the glue is drying, so if you can be patient. Okay, you see guys how it's turning? I think I should have done it a little lower, but it's okay. I'm gonna actually need that height when I put the willow branch on there. I'm gonna step away for a second to get these little, I'm gonna go get some clips, some like seamstress clips, so I can just hold something in place while I'm using my hands for something else. Just give me just a second. Okay, this isn't a chip. This isn't a seamstress chip, or seamstress clip, but it's it's a chip bag clip. That'll work. Ugh. Let's see. Has anyone been on any foreign vacations lately? I would like to travel. I haven't traveled internationally for a while. Alright, now I'm going to start trying to get this spiraled up into a point. It might be kind of hard to do, but we'll see. Just kind of pull it a little tighter. This also kind of looks like the creature's outfit, like his hat from Jeepers Creepers. Jeepers Creepers, where'd you get them creepers? Yeah, I think it's I think it's gonna work out, guys. Am I in the clear here? Oh no! Spoke too soon. I jinxed it. Pulled a whole row off. It's working too fast. Okay, I'm gonna be patient. Thank you, Adeline. I'm getting kind of that little witchy hat look. I should have definitely, I think, started a little lower, but that's fine. It's fine. Don't get crazy. Don't get crazy. I saw, so Adeline asks, what inspired your idea to pull the straw rows apart? I actually saw someone do this on TikTok, Pinterest, one of those things. They made kind of like a bonnet, but they had deconstructed they deconstructed a straw hat to do it, and I was like, oh, I could use that for a witch hat. So I'm going to start making a couple more short rows because I kind of want it to go back a little more, not just straight up into a cone. So a short row or two. I've got all these strings that I'm going to have to clean up. This is like some vintage witch hat shape. Thank you. When witch hat was on, we did a poll a long time ago, and witch hat was on the list of things that people wanted to do. So I like to try and make sure that you guys get what you ask for. A lot of folks don't do that. Which is fine because they're just crafting or making things, you know, whatever tickles their fancy, which is fine. But You guys are here to learn kind of some specific things, so if I can come up with a process, or maybe it's a process I already know, then I don't have any qualms. With accommodating that. Why wouldn't I? You guys are full of great ideas. I'm constantly impressed with the Secret Society and their planning that they've been doing with the thing that they're working on. The very hush hush project. Oh yeah, it's like on an air compressor. I've seen that. And I want to say I saw last Halloween season, I think they had web slingers at Spirit Halloween. They aren't insanely expensive. Definitely worth it, because doing spider webs by hand sucks. I'm not rich, but like one thing I definitely don't have excess amounts of is time. So sometimes I will suck it up and purchase something if it saves me time, because like I said, that's one thing I absolutely don't have extra of. Okay, so do you see how we're going? I think that's pretty close to what we were aiming for. Yeah, I'd say we're pretty good, pretty close. Okay, now we can just bring this thing to a point. Thank you. I was kind of nervous. I'd not done this before, so it's always a failing in front of an audience is always a welcomed experience, I guess. Son of a gun. Dry, glue, dry. Alright, let that sit for a minute. Yeah, 2 hats. It's provided a ample amount of straw snaky bits. This piece in the back won't stick for anything. Just have to wait longer. are you guys? His hat's coming along. Hat check. Well, thanks for joining, even though that's kind of why I like doing the live streams on YouTube. I mean, I could do live demos and Discord and stuff, but being able to record it so people can go back and watch it is nice for people who couldn't be there in the first place, and it's also nice to be able to stop something and then come back to it later. We're almost to a point back here. You used a straw hat, right? Tammy, that was named at. Melting. I'm starting to get kind of a interesting shape here, so I might be stuck doing short rows the rest of the way, just because the radius that this will bend is not like I'm almost at that. maybe if you cut this at an extreme angle. Oh, wrong way. Here we go. Yeah, once you get to a certain point, you kind of have to stick with doing the overlapping short rows if you want it to come to a pointy point, as I am finding out right now. This dang thing keeps slipping around though. Stand up. Hat's getting tall. I think it needs to come to a point real quick because so let's do down. Trying to figure out how I can get it to spiral up faster. So what I'm running into right now is that the spiral won't get as tiny because the things are kind of wide. I'm letting it dry now before I move on too much because it keeps wiggling the lower layers free. That would be cool. Maleficent. I never saw the second one. I thought how she lost her wings was crazy. I would be bitter. I'd be really bitter too. That's a good idea. Fable journals, Meow Me. The ones you get at the store, and you can, sometimes they have that foam inside of it and it stands up a little better, but sometimes not so much. Okay, so what I'm running into now is I need these to come to a point, but it is not allowing me very easily to do that. So maybe because this is about as pointed as I can get it, which is not bad. So maybe I make it and then work backwards from that point. Yeah? Alright, I'm going to try that. So I'm going to make the point. Hold that until it's nice and glued. Then I'm going to cut this little excess here so it's flush. So now you guys see my nasty gloves. Okay, I gotta keep holding it. Sorry. And then I've got some glue that I gotta pull out here. It's just all the cobwebs on the hat. Okay, so if that's that. Let me just wrap this up for a minute and see if I can see where this is going. In the wrong direction. Cam unglued, of course. I don't think that's going to work like that. Okay. I'll just have to keep doing the short rows, I think. Maybe it might be a good idea to find like multiple types of straw hats to cannibalize. It's like maybe one's got really tiny rows. Okay, I need to get in the habit of just holding the dang glue rather than moving on to the next step. Yeah, like ADHD, I swear. Getting there. Off. Yeah, the top of this hat is difficult with these fat strips, that is for sure. So if you are not doing this right now, but you do plan on doing it later, my suggestion is to get maybe a hat that has slightly thinner strips, so when you get to the top you can maybe switch to those. think we should have maybe 2 or 3 more, and then we'll be done. Okay. Maybe I'll just measure them out now. There might be a little hole in the top of mine if I can't get it to stay shut. I guess I could just glue a piece over the top of it. This room is too hot. The glue won't set. I'm ready for this thing to be freaking glued already. Come on. This glue's taking a long time to dry. Chop the excess here. If that part comes off one more time, I'm gonna scream. You guys are gonna hear it. You're gonna hear me scream. Almost there. Solidify already. Woo. This girl needs some water. Getting frustrated. Glue won't set. Alright, give it a minute. I keep going too fast and it's making the glue come undone. We have like a 1-inch opening. Screaming is absolutely part of my process, that's for sure. And everything gets covered with hot glue, it makes it hard to do anything as well. Maybe if I work with just a smaller segment. I'm gonna get some new gloves. I'll be right back. any smaller. If anyone knows a really good hot glue gun that feeds this new glue stick through it, let me know. I thought that's what that one that I purchased was going to do for me. And it didn't even heat up. Alright, I need to get this. It needs to come to a point like now. Don't want it to get too long. If I put crisscrossing ones like that in the end, like make two like this. Would that do it? No. It's worth a shot. Okay. I'm just going to start making them and then fitting them on there so they are getting smaller faster. So make this little cap, wait for it to solidify for a million years in my boiling hot room. Wolfman, what do you want? What's up? Okay, and one more. Okay. Alright, I think that's as thin as I can get it. With the size that I've got. Okay, so let's take a look at this and look at our example. Now let's get to the actual fun stuff, and I'm hoping that that part goes a lot faster. Ooh wee. I think it would be pretty quick if you just made the tall, like, kind of stovepipe hat that, like, the example that I had seen on the internet. A lot more challenging making a shape like this. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to lay down a piece of base fabric. Let me get all this crap off. Getting all the extra bits off. I think maybe actually before I put any cloth on, I need to touch up the bare spots. So I'm going to do that right now. Paint. This straw is pretty crumbly, so I don't even think that punching a needle through it would have been a good idea. You'd have to probably try and slip it between the... Alright, the paint's out. And it spit up on me. Paper towels, of course. Today, guys, I'm telling you, today. Okay, sorry, my paint, when I opened the lid, I don't know if you've ever had this happen, there's like back pressure and it just like burped up the paint all over me and the table. It's just one of those days, guys. Okay, I'm gonna fill in using black. I've got a jug of water. I do. Just whether or not I stop myself long enough to drink it is another story. To get into stuff, I forget to eat and all of that. And I think part of my plan was to kind of have the upper, like the overhanging ridge, have kind of a shadow. That's why I'm filling this part in with black to kind of give it that beehive ridge look. Yeah, juice bottles do it. Sometimes Starbucks cups, like if that little punched hole at the back of the lid isn't quite open all the way, it'll make your hot coffee burp on your face. Get a good scalding. It's lovely. I am a messy crafter, by the way, if you haven't noticed. It's like impossible for me to keep anything tidy while crafting. I'm not going to worry too much about the bottom of the hat because this whole like front section is going to have cloth going around it, but some of it might be peeking through the cloth, so just hit up the areas. Crazy amount of glue back here because the stuff kept sliding around. Just go ahead and slather some paint over that. Nothing wrong with a little bit of texture. Some people can. Some people clean as they go with crafting. Like, I do that with cooking, but I usually have like 4 or 5 projects going on at the same time. So It's one of the reasons we're at my drafting table. It's one of the only surfaces it doesn't have like 12 projects on it. I'm putting out 3 videos this month, so during the hot times when I can't run my computer, I've been working on I've got 2 stained glass things that I need to wrap up, and the flower press and the plaster relief sculpting. So I'm trying to get all that done, but I'm obviously trying to get the video that's already super late out is the priority, but life has been hitting me pretty hard in 2022. I know I'm not the only one, but it is a factor for sure. And job hunting, which I had a good interview the other day, so hopefully money won't be an issue soon. That'd be nice. Like I said, that I had a really strange background, so he already had as many applicants as he was going to look at, but then mine came across his desk at the last minute, and he just said it was too weird to pass up. So I'm either his own little personal freak show, or or I got the job. Okay, I am almost done filling this in. I wonder if they sell just long strips of this kind of ribbon thing that I was disassembling. I wonder if they have it not sewn together. Maybe like a straw hat maker supply, perhaps. We're almost there. Hat base is almost done. Okay, so while it's drying, I'm going to set up my little space here to start with the fabric stuff. So give me a minute to get all this junk kind of off here. I gotta tilt it kind of this way. See where I'm missing any big spots. It'd probably be a good idea to, you know, take it outside and spray it with some, hit it up again with some spray paint. Obviously it'd be faster. But I'm gonna make sure I get up here in the grooves, because people will be looking pretty much up at this hat. I need it to be, I'm okay with it looking kind of chewed up a little bit. I don't know if you've seen the Candyman, but that guy was in a tough way. Okay. Alright, let me switch gears real quick. You guys can stare at this lovely hat for a second. And I'm going to get the cloth ready. cloth stuff. Yeah, I like it too. I think it'll look nice under the layers of stuff I got. And I'll show you guys what that looks like in just a second. Probably going to swap out my gloves. I've got straw particles all over my laptop. Okay. Spicy. It's been a spicy it's been a spicy day. It's been nothing but glorious issues. We got away from it for a little while and then boom, it came back. Okay, I feel like I need to zoom out just a tad so you guys can kind of see a little better. Can everyone hear me and stuff still? Okay, so I'll let you guys have some input on this. I thought about, if you can look at my design, there's kind of a bright yellow underneath, and I thought about using this, kind of cutting it up and putting it underneath this mesh. I don't know how I feel about that. I think it needs to be a little more, plus this gold stuff gets caught on everything. It snags like a beast. Then, as you can see, the other things I got. So this is the black netting that will get stretched over the top of whatever's going underneath it. You can kind of see with that. But obviously it can't go black on black because that's going to be not enough contrast. So the other options are this kind of chiffon with this on top, which is kind of nice. Maybe a little too light. I couldn't get it to dye any darker. Of course, all those synthetic materials are such a pain. You would think that since they don't dye well that they would put them in better colors to begin with. Or I can do this. Just wrap this around so you guys can see. Get an idea. Hopefully this paint is dry. Okay, and then it would be sitting much tighter, but I think that's probably a lot closer to what the picture was. So let me show you. So keep that picture in mind, and then I will pin this up here with some straight pins. I think that's closer to what the concept is. Yeah, it is a little too shiny. I think I'm going to pull strips of it out, because if you look on the concept, you can see kind of some little like shimmery bits. So I think I'm going to do that as a base. So let's get that going. That's where we're going to start. Aside. I gotta move that gold cloth. It is gonna get caught on the other netting. It took me like 20 minutes to separate it without it ripping the netting. Okay. Alright. So I think we only need to wrap it around once, and I want to conserve this cloth because I'm going to use it in another portion hanging down the front. So I'm going to double it up. Fold it in half, and then I'm going to fold it. To the back of the hat. I'm going to pin it down there. I guess I could just put a little dot of glue to help it. Kind of pull it tight. And I'm probably going to end up running some stitches through the hat, but I just want it to stay in place real quick. Make sure it starts on the base. Fan it out a little bit. don't want this to look too organized. Up and I'm going to cut, and I want it to just kind of terminate into one of these folds, the angle of the folds. Okay. Got that. Front of my hat, so you guys can see. I think I want to pull that down a little bit right there. Bit. Okay, so now the next layer to add is going to be the black mesh, which I want to cut irregularly. Let's see. It's going to start back here like the other one and just kind of overlay it. I'm just going to tack it into place and then cut after so I can kind of look at it all at once. want this to be pretty snug. But I don't want it to distort the shape of the honeycomb. So don't pull it too tight. I think I want a little bit of that gold peeking out in the top. It's kind of how I have it in the other concept photo. It's not really. And this mesh I got from, I think, Michael's, actually, since they're selling fabric now. Is the stream still going? Looks like it. Wrapping it around. Run into a problem if I don't cut this straight. Straight pins will help keep your cloth on your hat. When you're going around an object, you kind of have to make relief cuts in your fabric, otherwise they get caught up. Just gluing and putting straight pins in so the glue will hold it in place. Okay, so here's where we're at so far. Now I just got to cut away the fabric where I do and don't want it. Just go backwards. And I'm just going to cut this kind of jankety so it's not uniform. And I'm going to let the honeycomb kind of come down a little bit onto the top of the hat, I think. Let me chop up this top part real quick. Go through, track pins down where you want it. Push pins are working pretty good through the straw. I didn't think it would. You know who just randomly popped in my head just now? I have no idea why. Christian Slater. Is he still like an actor? I have no idea why he popped in my mind. Maybe it's because we were talking about Val Kilmer and he's an actor. We haven't seen in anything in a long time. No, really, has anyone not doing anything right now? Google this guy. Is he still like doing stuff? And obviously, if you were wanting to make hats for like professional, you would be hand stitching all of this. But I would hope that you would be also charging $400 a hat. Like ever crumbly. Alright, so starting to edge in here and layers down. Pins out. Mr. Death, huh? What is that about? Poked myself. See? I would have usually said a swear word, but it just automatically shuts off. Of course, the last pin is glued to the hat. Okay. Alright, so let me show you guys. Get all this extra stuff off. We can take a look. This needs to be up here. let's take a look at what we got. And our original. And now let's start adding our little decorative bits. Making all the scraps off. To make these, I'm not sure how one makes the sides of these hats stick. That might be something I'm gonna have to figure out on my own. Kind of cracking it to make it a little more flexible. But maybe if I put like a stitch that holds this top part here to like the bottom, like from here to here. But I'm gonna do that on much later time. Okay, let's add our embellishments. 4 million hour craft along again, sorry. Can you steam this straw? Okay. Starting out, we have these little willow bees. I need to paint their butts and cut the, maybe I should make it wrap around the hat first before I do anything. So, let me get some wire cutters. So these are going to wrap around the shape of the hat. And I think the little limbs have wire in it. Okay, good. I was afraid that they didn't. Wire cutters, go. Okay. Front of the hat. I'm going to put them there, and then they're going to wrap around the side. Maybe a little more in the front. So it'd probably be a good idea to also stitch this to the hat, but I don't have time for that right now. So I'm going to glue the base of this down. Wait a million years for it to dry or harden, whatever. I definitely would have had to steam it before I painted it. And I think before I go too far with the putting the stuff on the front, if you look at the original, I have kind of like a trailing thing in the back, and I didn't know if I wanted that to be underneath or on top. What do you guys think? The little ponytail on the back, should that run around the base of the hat and then down the back of it, or should I put it towards the inner brim of like where the hat would go on my head? What are your thoughts? My first thought was put it around the base of the hat and then run it down the back. On top of the brim? Okay. So I'm just getting this branch thing to conform to the side of the hat. That in place while it dries. Alright, to get these where I want them to go, I should look at it from the front. And the nice thing is, because it's on like this rigid straw hat, the stuff won't be getting messed with too much. Pinning that all in place. Okay, so we have our little swarm of bees now. I gotta paint the butts, but I'm probably gonna do that not with you guys. It's like a sort of meticulous job. So I'm thinking make these kind of overlap. And to come out and up. Okay, so this is what we have so far. Got some pins in place. Now I think we'll do the little dingle dangle around the back. And for that, I have this brown netting. So I'm going to cut this into a strip. What it looks like underneath the hat. My goodness, this is a long piece of netting. I'm off camera cutting it, by the way. I don't know if I want that to be running underneath the entire surface on the top, but this is what's going. So maybe I'm just going to do a band of this kind of burlap, a thin band, like this, and then have this kind of tucked in to the back behind it. I think that would be better. I don't think I want that running all the way around. It's going to bulk up the base of the hat a bit too much. So let's do this real quick. A nice long strip. I'm going to cut it in half. Scissors. I think that's good. It. I hope that runs down the back. I might need a longer piece. Oh, today is a disaster. Everything's everywhere. anyone done anything interesting today or this morning? I just was working on this setup and spray painting things. If there's more craft along ideas that you guys have, you can put them in the comments for this video. Okay, I've got my strip of burlap. I think I'm going to put it around the base. So I need to find the middle because we're coming back to kind of like a bow. And I'm going to leave this like kind of rough chopped edge at the top. Pins before that. Oh no, the pit just ripped the pin head off. That would have sucked to have that jab into my head. Ouch. Oh, God dang it. I'm pinching my fingers. Sliding off the pin heads. That hurt. Okay, one more pin. Okay, wrap it around the back, and what do we think? Bow? Don't really want a bow. I think I just want to tie it in maybe a knot. I feel like the Candyman is a bows kind of person. Looks good. Okay, coming along. Got these little scraggly hangers in the back. And then once those are dry, I'm going to, I think, put netting up underneath this little thing. I have that hanging down the back. But I'm going to gather it up. Kind of like accordion fold it. And that'd be kind of funny. It's almost going to look like a beekeeper's hat. That is probably gonna, you could probably stitch that, but I'm just, like I said, you guys have been waiting so long and patiently today for me, so. I am going to glue and then kind of smash it together. Have a good one, Tammy. The Miters of Madness. Oh, I have a hilarious update for that. So we had really crazy storms here lately. My indestructible birdhouse has a, let's just say it has more ventilation now. I'm gonna have to fix it, but I was like, my indestructible weatherproof birdhouse. Kansas was like, nope. Alright, it's almost dry. It's not it won't be too hard to fix. It's just, it was just one of those funny things. Okay, so I'm gonna come up under the thing I tied, which I probably should have done this first, like a smart person. And I'm going to tuck that under. Glue it in place. And then I'll cut this wedding length train of tulle or netting or whatever you want to call it. Look at this. Okay. And I'll tie some of them. To a knot. Okay. And there we have the little train in the back. Moving right along. Spread that out a little bit. You guys see that? I'm going to cut this real quick. It's pretty stinking long, so I'm going to cut my ribbons. Okay, at some point we're going to have to scoot the camera back for you guys so you can see this, but that's what we're working with so far. now I just got to glue the front accent pieces and we're done. And then I will paint the bee butts later and show you those. I didn't want to cut the train too much. You see it? Okay, now for the cool parts. Have a good one. Thanks for sticking around. Sorry guys that this has taken a million years and I had all those technical problems. This was just one of those bad days, I guess. We'll catch up with you later. Alright, I have these. They're kind of like a blue color. Thought they'd make a nice little filler. Just gonna cut the stems. Maybe 4 maybe would be good. I don't want to get ones that are too floofy because I don't want it to cover up the other vines. So let's go with this little guy. Okay. And I'm just going to tuck these in. This is what the little burlap brim is kind of nice because you could just hat pin it into the burlap a little bit. It's kind of a neat feature. As long as you can go in at the end. If the stems are fighting you, just crease it. Nick, are you still here? How was your show? And I think I'll just do one more little one up here in the front. Right here. Cut this little guy in half. Okay, I feel like this lighting is not really showing you guys what it looks like, but I think it's turning out pretty good compared to the original concept. Now I just need to I dampened down the color on this sunflower by spray painting it. And then I'm going to remove it from the stem. Put it up here in the front. Kind of a nice big focal point on the front there. And I offset it just a little bit because I have only one of those seed pods. I don't know what happened to the other ones. So these weird little seed pod guys. I use them on so many projects. Right there. And I think I'll get probably maybe one more of those seed pods at the store. What do you think? Higher or lower? Lower? A little better lower. Maybe I put some sunflower leaves behind it. Some of the sunflower leaves are kind of blocking it, or petals I should say, where it goes around. Okay, that's it everyone. Okay, I'm going to put you on the webcam or the wake. I'm going to let you see the concept real quick, and then I'm going to situate the camera where you can see this. So give me just a minute. Okay, it's gonna be such a mess to clean. Remove some of these pins. Okay, just a second. I'm gonna take these straight pins out. Okay, let's see what we got. I think the bees will make a nice accent. Camera is moving, hang on. My webcam is on a weird stand. And there we have it. Very sorry that this was a serious cluster of a day. I hope you guys still had fun. I've got some touch-ups to do. And I gotta see if I can figure out how to make the sides curl up. But that's that. I think it looks pretty much like the concept. I'm gonna dry brush some brown on there. But that's it. Thank you. I seriously appreciate you guys putting up with that mess. That was you guys are the best patrons ever. So I'll go ahead and I will end the live stream, but I'm gonna paint the bee butts, the yellow struts and the bees, and dry brush some brown on there. So you guys can see what that looks like, and I'll post some pictures. Thanks for coming. Tammy, I want to see what your hat looks like. Thanks for coming back to see it. Alright. I gotta get out of this sweltering heat. Thank you everyone for your patience. You guys are the best. Post your hats in Discord so I can see what you guys have done and you can get credit for your guilds. Have a good rest of your Saturday. Thank you.